Scientists may have found a way to slow climate change, but it could backfire catastrophically. Humans aren't doing enough to halt our emissions. Scientists have estimated that even with our best efforts, temperatures will rise by about 5.4 degrees Fahrenheit. That means rising sea levels, food shortage, and possibly more wars. To fight back, some scientists want to add their own emissions, of a different kind. The technique is called stratospheric aerosol injection. A plane would release a spray of sulfate aerosols into the second layer of the atmosphere, called the stratosphere. The idea is that the aerosols build a reflective layer that blocks out part of the sun, in turn cooling the Earth. To be clear, this hasn't actually been done before, but the theory is supported by science. The process already happens naturally. When a volcano erupts, droplets of sulfuric acid form in the stratosphere. Winds carry those droplets around the world, and they cool the planet down for a couple of years afterward. Advocates like Harvard's David Keith say that aerosol injection is relatively cheap too. His plan is to increase these sulfate drops over the course of decades. This would slow down global warming long enough to help us find an alternative to fossil fuels. It sounds exciting, but such a drastic program has a lot of what-ifs. Scientists say spraying aerosol in the northern hemisphere would lead to fewer cyclones there, like Harvey or Katrina. Great! But it would create drought in sub-Saharan Africa and parts of India. Conversely, spraying aerosol in the southern hemisphere wouldn't create drought, but it would create more tropical storms in the North Atlantic. Injecting both hemispheres may help, but no one country has the authority to do that. It's also hard to be sure what the long-term effects would be in either hemisphere. The sulfates would probably disappear in a few years, but the global climate is just too complicated to predict. One wrong move, and we could trigger a new ice age by mistake, or a global drought. And this kind of geoengineering can set the stage for global conflict between temperate and tropical countries. Rich northern countries like China, Russia, and the US are more likely to have the power to do these injections. They won't do anything that would hurt their own climate, so they could work together to help the global north. Then the poor areas in the south would have to deal with the droughts. To avoid that, or other kinds of trouble, governments would have to work together for the global good, and good luck with that. So, neat idea, but maybe not plan A for a cooler Earth.